Welcome to Moments with Marianne. I'm so delighted we're spending this time here today. We have a very empowering show coming right up with special guest Gabriel Horne, otherwise known as White Deer of Autumn. And he's here today to share with us his two new books, Spirit Drumming, A Guide to the Healing Power of Rhythm, and his novel Motherless. Now, Gabriel is an award-winning writer who has provided a nuanced look at Native American culture and spirituality for decades. He shows how drumming can take us back to our true selves and connect not only to each other, but to the earth. So let's welcome to the show, Gabriel Horne, White Deer of Autumn.
Thank you. Nice to be here, Marianne.
What a pleasure it is to have you here, and I'm so delighted that we get to talk about your two books, but we're going to start with your first book today, Spirit Drumming. And I have to ask you, what inspired you to write this book?
Well, I think what inspired me to write it is what inspires me to write any book I've written. I have to feel there's a need for it, and there's something particularly that I can add to it that I feel needs to be said. And I do it out of love for the things that I've been taught, love for my grandchildren, respect for the things that I've been taught. And as a result of that, it's an extension of my gratitude for the things that I've been taught. So this is basically why I did it. You can see the need for a book like this or books like this that can be available to teach people how to respect and why they should respect these things, these entities like our drums and such. And so I saw it clear right in my face too why I did this book. And then there was also people who drum and who are drawn to that for their own indigenous calling from inside them, from wherever they come from in the world. They use drums and drum circles that are forming in this country, and so what I thought I would do is add what I've learned about the drum, why I drum, the history of the drum as I know it. And maybe through what I could offer in Spirit Drumming, they could too learn these things, and as you learn, you become more respectful of the history, because if it wasn't for the indigenous people who some of them gave their lives for this information to keep these things alive, we wouldn't have these songs. We wouldn't probably even have our drums because of what they went through. But they held on to them, and we always owe them that respect or in memory. Whenever we sit with a drum, we should be grateful for those that before us that kept this energy, this vibration alive, so that we can turn and do the same thing. And then to encourage people to send out that vibration, that it's an energy that's been used from the time they say the woodpecker began his pecking on the tree and on the hollow tree, and they heard the drum for the first time. The human beings heard the drum for the first time and began to use it. It's gone a long ways on this continent and probably all over the world. So it's to remind everybody of that, and then all of the teachings that are in there about the drum, how to be respectful about it and where it came from, different stories from different peoples that have used the drum and their stories of what it did to them, and how it drew them, how it touched their hearts and drew them back to who they are inside, what their hearts are, and how it enables the song to reach into the universe, into the skies and into the universe through that vibration. And it's something that has been used for thousands and thousands and thousands of years. And so it's important, because if we lose these things, then I think we lose the essence of what it was to be human, our original instruction of that wisdom. So that's in a nutshell. I could probably think, my granddaughters, coming into the world and having something, making sure that they have something tangible in their hands, that if they need to look up something, they have it. If I won't be here, they have those words that I was given, that I passed on. So, that's why we write, I guess.
Well, in your book, it's the title of it's Spirit Drumming, and so for our listeners that are new to drumming, what is spirit drumming?
Well, the title, when you're working often with larger publishers, you often don't get to pick your title. The smaller publishers or the mid publishers, they love your work and they love your title. They'll keep your title. And so this was the title of the publisher, and I could go with it, very, very easily, because everything to the indigenous way of seeing the universe in this way, everything has spirit, and everything then is alive. And so when we use the drum, we're connecting not only the spirit that's enabling us to exist, but the spirit of the drum. And that energy then goes out and touches the spirits of all things. That energy, that vibration. And it's the idea that when we go to the drum, we're going because our spirit is joyful sometimes. We want to sing because we feel good about being together. We feel good about our lives. We feel good about something happened. Something good happened, and we want to express that joy. Our spirit could be hurting. We lost somebody we loved, or an animal we loved, or sometimes feeling alone. Our spirit is lonely, and we feel ourselves at that point where why go on sometimes. There are songs, there are ancient songs that have been passed down, fortunately, that are in the book, that are translated into English, that a person can sing to reconnect with life again, to reconnect, or to put an energy out there with the drum that draws goodness into the heart and into the spirit, that and asks for help through that energy from the other energies in the world, the natural energies in the world that will help us, through this time. And I don't think I've ever gotten through a drum session where I haven't felt completed in what I've done. Not instantly. I may not instantly get that sense of okay, now I'm helped, but I know I did it. I know I sang the song. I know I drummed. I know it's coming. I believe it's coming, that help. And just from the energy of the vibration of the drum itself, it is strengthening my spirit. That's it in a nutshell, I guess. Good question.
Yeah, well, and it's interesting because when we look at drumming, you mentioned this. There's for generations, indigenous people have used drums in their rituals and their daily practices.
Yes.
And so when
all over the world, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And so when we look at that, Is it really helping us for people who are learning, about drumming? Is this something that will help us connect with the planet and those around us?
Oh, the vibration itself. You can't not sit with your hand drum or around a big drum and not feel that energy touching your heart, moving your heart, moving your spirit. You can't, or stirring your spirit. You can't not feel that. I think if you can't, if a person can't feel that, that energy in a good way, that spirit may be gone. It may be so diminished it doesn't exist anymore. It's a vibration, and it's a vibration that how old is it? It's as old as when they sang songs to bring the rain, and when they sang songs to part the clouds, and when they sang songs and babies were born, and all that's energy. That's a vibration. And when it's accompanying with words, and sometimes not even with words, just with sound, with hey ya, hey ya, hey ya, hey. It's an expression of feeling, and you're expressing feeling through the drumming. That's all energy. That's all vibration, and everything is vibration. So it's touching everything that it's directed to with that song. And so there's a word that a mamo, he's a person who would be called a shaman, maybe by many people today, from South America, from a place called Heart of the World. And he was especially known for his wisdom of the earth. He listened to the earth all his life, and she told him and explained to him. She showed him her beginnings, and she showed him our beginnings. And so he had within him this knowledge of what he had learned from her. And before he died, she taught him a word. And the word was Ikwashenduna. And the word, he said, that she taught him was a word that, in incantation, that brings inner order. So as you're drumming and you saying that word or incantating that word, Ikwashenduna, you're establishing inner order within yourself. The negative energy is leaving. And so you begin to establish that inner order, and that inner order then begins to reflect out into your immediate environment, your home, your yard, where you live, so that as that inner order becomes a part of you, it also becomes a part of the world immediately around you, where you live. And you can imagine if that happened with all people, what the planet would be like in that sense. But she taught him this word to use, and she said to share it. That's why I'm sharing it. She said she instructed him to share it, Ikwashenduna, and through that energy, through that vibration, and through the drum that accompanies that, you begin to establish in an order, and that inner order then reflects in the environment around you, and that has then order in the natural world around you. And it's also a sound that she said to him she can identify. There are lots of sounds on the earth, but that's a sound she can identify its origin. So in that sense, the earth is hearing that, knowing that, because that's her word, she taught it to him. And so that's the nature of the spirit of belief that goes along with this. And I guess to me it's very powerful and very sacred, and I think if people learn these things, then they'll look at their drums, they'll look at their drum circles even more meaningfully, knowing what they're participating in, knowing the sound that they're participating with. So I hope I answered your question. I sure went off on a trail.
No, I'm glad that you brought that up, because you were able to share with us some really deep and meaningful information. And I'm so glad that we spent that time together doing that.
Well, on that note, we're going to pause here for a quick break. We've been speaking with Gabriel Horne, otherwise known as White Deer of Autumn, and he's here sharing with us his 2 books, Spirit Drumming, A Guide to the Healing Power of Rhythm, and his novel, Motherless. You've been listening to Moments with Marianne. We'll be right back after these messages.
Internationally recognized and award-winning author Judy Goodman works and teaches outside the box of limited thinking. Working with people from every walk of life, her goal is to empower you to be the best you can be, no matter what the challenge is. Born with the gift of seeing beyond our normal vision, she has an extraordinary gift of working with every challenge. Teaching beyond conventional wisdom, her work is described as life-changing. Visit judygoodman.com. That's judygoodman.com.
There comes a moment when you realize you're somewhere special, when you discover that each beautiful creature that you see has been rescued from a life of absolute horror and brought to this incredibly free place. Here's where their lives were forever changed, and where yours will as well. Discover over 500 tigers, bears, and lions at the brand new visitor center at the Wild Animal Sanctuary just outside Denver. For more information, visit wildanimalsanctuary.org. Discover true freedom at the Wild Animal Sanctuary.
Have you ever had the sense that your thoughts might actually be doing something? Ancient secrets of manifesting have been masterfully revealed in the award-winning book Manifesting 1-2-3 by Ken Elliott. For the first time, the author's experiences and stories in this book describe exactly how your thoughts can create anything. You've been doing this all your life, but it's never been fully explained for you until now. Visit manifesting123.com for more information today. Manifesting123.com.
There are nearly 2 million Americans living with amputation. Many live right here in San Antonio. Becoming an amputee can be scary, frustrating, isolating, but there's no reason to feel alone. The San Antonio Amputee Foundation is here to help support you and guide you toward resources such as home and car modifications and even prosthetic limbs. For more information or to make a donation, visit saamputee.org. We'll help you live a full, active life, one step at a time. San Antonio Amputee Foundation, healing limbs, hearts, and souls.
Welcome back to Moments with Marianne. We're here today with special guest Gabriel Horne, otherwise known as White Deer of Autumn, and he's sharing with us his new book, Spirit Drumming, A Guide to the Healing Power of Rhythm, and his novel, Motherless. Now, before we went for break, we were talking in regards to drumming, and your book covers a lot of great information for people who maybe have been drumming for a while or people who are novices to the practice, where they can start, and the importance of drumming, as well as the part that it plays within indigenous cultures. There seems to be a deep longing for people who are looking to reconnect with these ancient wisdoms and how to not only bring this back into practice, but really kind of dovetail it with what the practices we have today with modern times.
No, this is a good way to do it, you know, and to do the idea is to do it respectfully. The idea is to you don't have to make a show of something, right? It's what's, you know, I could be here in a little room and drumming my chants, whatever I need to do to accomplish something or to rid myself of something that's bothering me. I can do it, you know, and I can take it out the drum outside and sing and drum for the trees and the animals with their permission, and if and knowing that it's been these ideas have been passed down to us from generations and generations, that kind of respect that helps people realize that when they do sit down doing this, it is a moment. It is a sacred moment. It is the moment you and your drum are communicating with the universe, with the earth, with the natural world. What could be more sacred? What could be more special? And so the book shows all the, not all, but a lot of some of the teachings that I personally experienced, and what happened, the history of what happened, and to these beliefs and the people who practice them, and then to hear other people talk about their experiences too, and they come from all walks of life. Some of them are indigenous, and some of them are indigenous from other places, but the heart is there, and it's a reconnection, to something ancient, to something real, and something we're making. We're making the music, so it's a powerful thing, And I told about the time that I was with a holy man, a shaman from the Amazon, and he took me on a journey that I can never forget, and I had experienced with him in ceremony a sacred drink, and it was passed around in a bowl by his wife, and in the circle of the small circle that there was, and I figured, Indian medicine a lot of times can be really bitter, and so I was waiting when I put my lips to the bowl, that I would be tasting something really bitter, and I tasted probably the sweetest thing I've ever tasted ever, and like a kid, you want all of it, but he said take a sip, so I took a sip, and he explained that as he drums, he beat a drum and he sang a song, and he said, and then when I'm going to shift the song, I'm going to shift the beating to this. And we're gonna, and then when I shift the beating to this, then you come back, and you must come back. Don't think about it. Just when you hear that beat, you come back. And he started drumming and singing, and the next thing I know, I am a deer, and I am experiencing everything about the deer. I'm experiencing the muscles, the antlers. I'm going through a forest into the earth and just galloping and all through these trees, and yet my antlers aren't touching one of them, and I'm feeling this great power, the power of the deer. I'm feeling it. And I'm all the time, the drumming's going on. And then the next thing I know, I'm in the water, and I'm a dolphin, and I'm feeling what it is to be a dolphin. And as I'm swimming in the ocean, Mother Ocean, and I'm just experiencing this incredible feeling, out I go from the water into space. And now I'm going out, and I'm going by the moon, and I see how beautiful she is. And then I feel sorry that anything's been done to her by humans. And then I keep going, and I turn, and I see the earth, and oh my gosh, she was so beautiful. You know that picture that they celebrate that one of the astronauts took from the moon? He took a Earthrise, I think it was. It was a very famous picture back in 1970 or something. it changed many people's perspective of life. It's one of the great pictures of photographs of the world, and because you're seeing the Earth, they saw the Earth from space, and it's a whole different. And so I'm up there, and I'm seeing the Earth, and I keep going, and I'm passing out. I'm passing through the solar system out further and further into the galaxy, and then I'm looking down, and what if I lose track of the sun? Because now I'm looking at all these stars, and I want to make sure I keep my eye on the sun. And then I hear the drum, and I hear it boom, 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 the shift. And I didn't hesitate, just as he instructed. And the next thing, I'm sitting next to him, and he's still singing, and he's still chanting, and I hear him crying in his chanting. And that went on for a little while until the ceremony ended. That was a drumming experience of another kind, let me tell you. And what I always tell people, you know, the ancient ones, our ancestors, they didn't have to blow a hole in the ozone or take contaminations up to the stars and put them on planets. We had other ways of traveling. And we could see, I saw the Earth, I saw the moon, I saw the galaxy, I saw the stars from up there. And I didn't need a rocket ship to get there. It was real. And I experienced that. And that's the difference, too, between, the science and spirituality, that science separates from spirituality, and realizing that there is a lot said about spirituality and what you could do, what we have. This drumming is a vibration, it's energy, and what it creates, and the songs that go with it. It's very sacred power. And I think that even when a person's sitting alone or sitting with others drumming, you can go to that journey. One can go to that journey into themselves and into their hearts, into their souls or spirits, and they can experience what it is to tap that. And they can experience maybe things that they remembered in their life. And maybe as the drumming comes out, they begin to release the things that have held them down, the things or the things that we drag along with us that we don't need anymore. The negative feelings, the bad experiences, the feelings that go with the bad experiences. Drumming helps alleviate that, and it helps to observe maybe where they stem from and where they come from. So there's songs, too. There's songs, for beauty. There's songs for love. There's songs to help get rid of these things that persist, pesky things from our past that persist to hurt us. That's why we have these things. And it's the heartbeat, man. It's the heartbeat. And it keeps, I've had some heart issues, but boy, that drum keeps my heart strong. And I remember my wife, Amy, who is blind and type 1 diabetes, she said they were going to a powwow in Mankato, Minnesota. That's where they had executed 38 innocent people, some about 100 years ago, Native Americans, Dakotas, and she's Dakota. And she went there to a gathering, a powwow, and she said she got off the bus. She took a bus from Minneapolis, and keep in mind, she's blind. As soon as they opened the door to the bus, she said, I heard the drum. I heard it in my heart, and I couldn't tell if it was my heart or the drum. And as she felt herself being guided, she was guided. She said the drum just guided me right to the drum. It from all the way to the bus and all the way through the parking lot there, the drum took her. And it was a moment she'll never forget. And other people have written about such moments, and in their and they come from all walks of life. So the drum, there's no question about how important it is. Need that vibration in this world, especially to help dissipate all the negative energy that many people's words are putting into the world, because that's vibration too. So the drum counteracts that, it dissipates it, makes it fodder maybe for better things to come. So,
and it's interesting how much drumming really does. It touches a person on the physical level, spiritual level, mental level. There's so much that's involved in that.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does. The one woman talks about her baby when she was about to give birth wouldn't turn to come out, and they were going to use the surgical or scientific method to get the baby to take the baby, and she had asked for a drum. And so when the drumming began, this is just before she gave birth. When the drumming began, she felt the baby's feet moving, and the baby turned, and she had a healthy birth. So it's stories like that, man, that just are just so incredible.
Well,
they just really are.
Well, and your book, Spirit Drumming, has a lot of great information for people who are looking to develop that practice, at home, and how to get started and all that. And I understand that you also have another book, Motherless, and I'd love for you to share a little bit about that with us.
Well, Motherless has just been optioned for a film by Brainlint Productions. So we were really excited about that. So that's really cool to announce it on your show like that, because we just found out, a little while ago.
Oh, exciting!
And it is very exciting. The screenwriter Barbara Best loves the book so much. And what an incredible thing to have someone who loves something so much to be able to do what she does, and so I'm really, really, really happy about that. And it's about the philosophy again of life. You got to understand that everything I've written has been in some way to communicate the beauty and what I feel is humanity's salvation in this world because of the philosophy that this is associated with, indigenous philosophy that this is associated with. Every book I've written pretty much has in it all the same things, but they're all different genres, and they're all in different ways and all in different forms. And because I'm reaching different audiences with each one, and you want to put it out there as best you can in the most perfect way you can, so that it can do its job out there, which is touch people's hearts, make people think or reflect, and maybe support those who are already feeling these feelings, or maybe give them the words to put the feelings to. But Motherless is about a Native girl who was orphaned, and at 5 she lives with her grandfather now, and it covers their life together pretty much from the time she was born up until she's a young woman. And it shows what it's like to be. It takes you through what it's like to be an indigenous person in this world that's surrounded by people who are so removed from that, and how she deals with that, and how she confronts history in classes, and how she confronts the the horror that's being inflicted on our environment, and how she finds her path in it. And it's, of course, this great love between her grandfather and a wolf that he had rescued. So the three of them are basically rescued. The wolf, in a sense, rescued him, as did his granddaughter, because he was old and didn't have purpose anymore and was wondering why I should even stay around, basically, as we do when we get older. And he found purpose through them, and they got rescued through him. So it's this family bond that they have is very powerful. And it starts off with a line from Khalil Gibran that says, "Love knows not its own depth until the hour of separation." And it's not only about when we're at someone, or whether it's an animal we've loved or a human being we've loved, and the depth of love that we feel at that moment when we know that this time has come to an end. But it's also about a philosophy, a way of looking at life, that if we are at that hour, and I am at that hour, so that the depth I'm feeling for that is all I can't describe. And so it basically is how she deals with these things as a girl, and how he, as a grandfather, he's just retired. He's ready to say, I'm ready to sit down and maybe just live out the rest of my life. All of a sudden is put on this responsibility of raising a and how many grandparents don't do that today? This responsibility of raising a granddaughter. And but it's a story that really kind of told itself. And so she goes and she has this incredible experiences, natural ones that happen when you're a part of the natural world. It's like we can't use lip service to caring for the planet, for caring for the earth. We have to practice it. We have to actually live that way and try to live that way, make efforts to live that way. And we can't maybe change the world to do that, but we, by living this way, are helping to keep something alive, or helping to change the world, or maybe keep her healthy as we can. So I'm really, it's Motherless is one of the most special things to my heart, and it came as a result of a turtle dream that I had, and in the dream I understood so much about what's happening to the earth and what's happening to the animals, and it came out of that dream. So the whole process of the book was energized, you might say, from that dream. And even after the book was told, I had another dream, another turtle dream, and that assured me that I had done the right thing. So I feel good about it, And I know Lisa Hagen, because it's Lisa Hagen books, she loved it. And I know it has a lot of female energy around it. The main character is female. But there's a lot of female energy around this. The designers, there are so many people who are a part of it, who read the manuscript, who gave me feedback on the book, were all women, and sometimes grandmothers would read it to their grandchildren so that they could get feedback. And so to make sure that I was communicating and listen to their suggestions and stuff and things. So it's got all, but it also has some really strong, beautiful male energy to it. And that's important. It shows the balance, and it shows the power. And in both books, it shows the respect and the power that women have and deserve. And that's a primary purpose that comes out of the philosophy of indigenous people, that it has to stay alive. So we'll see. I just think that everything is in the mystery, and you put it out there in creation. You do it in the right way, and then you let it travel. Let it touch you. It's going to touch, and see where it goes. And right now, it's in Canada, the film company. So that's, who would have thought?
Well, I'm so delighted that you shared that with us here today. How exciting
Thanks for asking.
Yeah, your book, Motherless, it's a multi-book award winner. There's too many book awards to use.
Yeah, I was blown away by that, yeah. But it said to me, too, this is something, Mm-hmm. It affirmed, again, it was that affirmation that you need. Any writer needs it, It's nice to have it, even if somebody says your book really meant a lot to me. But getting an award from somebody who doesn't know you from anything and just picks it up and decides, that's really a quite an affirmation. And especially since it's as controversial as it would be, because it deals with what humans are doing to the world, to our environment, to America especially, what they're doing here, and it talks about that. She asks questions like that. If the founding fathers loved America, if people love America, then why are they doing what they're doing? Do they love America, the land? Do they love America, the waters? Do they love the trees? Do they respect the animals and love the animals? Do they have gratitude? You can love, the idea is, of course, is that you can love something, but without respect and gratitude, you can kill something you love. You can kill it. You can love it to death. And you see people sometimes going out on their boats and their recreational vehicles, having a great time because they love the water. They love to be on the water. But it's that next level of our evolution that says, what about your respect for the water? What about that feeling of gratitude? What am I doing that would hurt the water? Am I doing anything? Can I enjoy the water without hurting the water? Can I enjoy the earth? Can I enjoy the land I live on without hurting the land I live on? Without hurting the sky, the trees? And so it really is controversial in that people can put their hands over their hearts and Star-Spangled Banner themselves into a tizzy, and they can pledge allegiance. But when they think about what it is that they love, do they love the freedom of being without responsibility to the planet, without responsibility do they love the responsibility of having as much as they want? Or do they love the land? Do they think of her as mother, And because that's what was here. That's what was here, and that's what the you hear the term immigrants, that's what the immigrants almost destroyed to get what they wanted. It wasn't to them. It was a love to be able to be free to do that, to get that land, but they had to commit genocide, and they had to do horrible things, or horrible things had to be done for them to get it. And so it's a history. It's sometimes it's brief exchanges in her class with Rainey Peake's class. She's named Rainey because when she was born, there was a drought, and at her birth, it rained. And so she was given that name. So the idea that names connect us to special things or events or people. And so she goes on her journey as Rainey Peake, and she asks questions in school that become annoying, She asks questions about genocide, and of course, they don't teach these things in school. and predominantly speaking, not if the teachers, a brave teacher will and conscientious teacher will, but for the most part, Americans know so little. They know in their gut, and they know in their subconscious maybe that some horrible things took place in the Western Hemisphere to get what we have today. But they don't know their history. They don't know. Look at what was said the other day about Elizabeth Warren. I may be going off subject, but it's about identity. And Rainey Peak deals with identity here because people ask her, "Are you all Indian? Are you part Indian? Why is your skin? Why do you have blonde streaks in your hair? Do you go to church? Do you believe in God?" So these are the things. So when, if people have indigenous blood.
Where can our listeners connect with you and be part of your community?
NativeEarthWords.com is our website.
Awesome.
It's all and all the books and stuff are on there.
And
that's
then
about
they can connect with you and email you there and all that good stuff, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And I'd love to hear what people think about what they read.
Mm-hmm.
And so yes.
I mean, there's a reason why Motherless. I mean, again, it has so many awards. Such a great book, and congratulations on the film.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, Gabriel, thank you so much for taking the time to be on the show with us here today.
Hey, we will. Thank you so much. It's an honor, and I'm humbled to be able to share these things. I appreciate you so much for giving me this opportunity.
Well, we look forward to hearing more from you when the movie comes out. I know it's going to be so exciting.
Let's keep our fingers crossed. So I'm keeping mine crossed. We'll see. We'll see.
Well, thank you, Gabriel. It's been such a pleasure to spend this time with you, and of course to talk about your 2 new books, Spirit Drumming, A Guide to the Healing Power of Rhythm, and your novel, Motherless. Again, if you'd like to connect with Gabriel, you can at his website, nativeearthwords.wordpress.com, and we'll have the link below. Well, we're at the end of our time today. I would like to thank everyone for tuning in. You're listening to Moments with Marianne. And remember, make every moment count.
In a single moment, your life can change. Moments with Marianne is a transformative hour that covers an endless array of topics with the best of the best. Her guests are leaders in their fields, ranging from inspirational authors, top industry leaders, and business and spiritual entrepreneurs. Each guest is gifted and a true visionary, a recognized leader in her own work, and while teaching others to develop, refocus, and grow, Marianne will bring the best guest and sometimes a special surprise. Don't miss this. You never know just which moment will change your life forever. Moments with Marianne airs every Sunday, Monday, Thursday, and Friday at 8 p.m. Eastern and 5 p.m. Pacific Time. Make sure to tune in and visit momentswithmarianne.com for more information.